Flame on! How's everybody doing tonight? I'm here with my very special guest.
Let me try.
Okay.
Wonderbot.
Somebody please
God
clip
damn it,
this.
Jay Heat.
All in good fun, buddy. All in good fun.
Oh boy. Well, we're in for a wild one today.
The moment you've all been waiting for. Godkiller 2. Now, we have to set the stage for this one. So if you remember our timeline video, we essentially adapt Cadmus, where Billy goes off the deep end. He kind of rebels against the Justice League and kind of scours the galaxy to help those in need.
Yeah.
And what's up, Tevia? Thank you. And shout out Movie Theater King as well. And let's just say, be careful what you wish for.
The Justice League's about to get messed up.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So basically, Billy stumbles upon Shazam. You know, he's traversing the galaxy. Thor's sent on attack. Mythologically accurate Thor, mind you. Basically, from God of War 5, basically. Not Marvel's Thor. I want to go ahead and acknowledge that disclaimer now in case I get roasted in the comments. But so you know, Billy has the power of 6 gods. He thinks he's big and bad, and I'm like, look, man, I have the powers of an entire pantheon. You're just a space tyrant with a hammer. What could you possibly do to?
And you're Thor, just a child with delusions of grandeur.
Lead me to Midgard and you may live, boy.
I love that. I love the way you say boy. You definitely sound like Kratos.
Thank you. Billy's trying to do everything he can. Dodge, weave. He can't even touch him. Like, seriously. If actual video game God of War Kratos could barely hold his own with the Leviathan axe, what the frick is Billy gonna do?
Yeah, it's not like when he fought like the dragon or like the Daughters of Atlas in the movie. No. But so essentially, go on.
And funny you should mention that, Tevia, but we'll get to that. Oh boy. But so yeah, Billy thinks he reads a lot of comic books. He watches a lot of TV shows. He knows about mythology. Oh, he's connected to the hammer. So if I get the hammer away from him, so Billy tries and true. He even utters the word, turns back to normal Billy in the attempt to get the hammer away from him. To where Thor is somewhat compassionate, to where he's willing to. Okay, this is a child. Earth's champions are children. What sorcery is this? Nice try. And all this really amounts to is a sucker punch because he transforms and, you know, takes the hammer from him. And then all Thor has to do is just reach out and decks Billy right with a thunder punch. Don't believe everything you read, child.
And thus Shazam is out of commission. And what you could do, we could also make it where Thor's special abilities, he can drain the powers of the gods from Billy so he can't turn into Shazam.
Yeah, but I wouldn't let him do that just yet. Wait till we get to the main event. This is just a prelude.
Okay, that works.
So some time passes. Everyone's going through their own adventures. Mary Marvel is actually worried for Billy because he's been gone for almost a year. And then all of a sudden, there's a catastrophic thunderstorm worldwide. And then you hear a certain crack-a-cacoom.
And then it would essentially be like a thunderbolt launched, like hits the ground, and then Thor emerges. Looking all badass, eyes glowing white.
And hanging over him is Billy's broken body. Basically, this is our version of Worldbreaker Hulk holding Black Bolt.
Yeah, essentially. And then like the advanced group of heroes show up, and then Thor just holds up Billy by his neck. He's all bloodied and bruised. Then just throws them, and then Billy lands like stomach first in front of him. He kind of slides in, all dramatic and like.
I will only heed this once. Bring me Loki for Asgardian judgment by credence of the All-Father. and your pitiful world may live. And then Scion just stares blankly with heat vision. Not gonna happen. Kal-El, don't do this. I've tangled with my fair share. This isn't the time for politics. He beat Billy, a child, into an inch of his life. Because Billy was being a glory hog half across the galaxy. Not here. Not with civilians at risk. This is post-Earth Superman, by the way, or New Earth. And Scion being Scion, the New 52 jackass that he is.
He wasn't a jackass, first off. I'm just going to...
Come on, he was a...
I'm going to push against that real quick. And
Debatable.
that's a preview for my collab with Brit that is coming out on Monday.
So basically, all bets are off. The moment he actually recognized that it's Billy, one of the founding Justice League of the New 52,
and a
Scion
child, he goes full Henry Cavill Superman. And it was like, it's on, bro. And he flies at him. You do the whole super speed ramming into Thor, launches and like he crashes them into a mountain. But then being magic, obviously Thor clearly has the advantage, and he calls out a lightning bolt that knocks Scion into a crater.
And
did you really think you could stand against me, Kryptonian?
And now post-crisis, Clark has to step in before this newcomer, before his doppelganger gets himself and half the world killed. So it's two Supermen fighting a mythologically accurate Thor at the same time.
It's kind of like an Infinite Crisis when the two Supermen were fighting Superboy Prime.
Thor is just throwing the hands, and half the time he just tosses Mjolnir somewhere, leaves it to wreak havoc, and pretty much causes a typhoon right in the middle of Metropolis.
Yeah, so while the Justice League is trying to manage all this, the Supermen are fighting Thor. Then all of a sudden, there's a beam of light, and a spear strikes Thor, and all of a sudden, Wonder Woman in her golden armor emerges.
Pitiful Amazon. Such trinkets will not hurt me. Who said they were to hurt you? I'm sorry, I'm good at these impressions. Seriously.
Yes, you are very much. You should be a voice actor, dude.
Maybe. Hire me, DC. But, honestly, Kryptonian, you send your maiden to fight me? How pitiful.
Oh, you haven't fought my maiden. Oh, trust me. Diana, let loose. And then she now I'm going to go deep into New 52 lore right now. And you'd know when Wonder Woman takes off the gauntlets in the New 52, that powers her up to a 10th degree. And so she does that. Her eyes are glowing white. She's in the golden armor, and she and Thor just go at it.
And let's just say
it's like there's shock waves every time they collide.
Basically, mountains are being leveled, cities are being flooded. It's just pure pandemonium.
Because it's the gods. It's the gods in battle, essentially.
Come to think of it, where's Godkiller in all this?
Let's just say he's watching it so that he's waiting to see which side emerges victorious. So, essentially what he's doing the old watch two sides fight so that you only have to fight one group. So he's like, I'll either have to fight Thor or the Justice League. Either one's fine with me. I'm just going to wait so I don't have to fight two people at once.
And let it be clear, Godkiller is not an ally of the Justice League. This is still right off the first comic. Off the first comic. Kratos.
He just doesn't want to put any extra effort.
No, because he is completely indifferent towards humanity. After the events of Godkiller 1, he's completely indifferent.
Yeah, exactly. But take us on. What happens next?
The JLA tried to rush in every superhero from A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. Is the entire superhero community pretty much trying to rush at Thor? Let's get him!
Yeah,
and I
it's
feel
essentially an Infinite Crisis.
And I feel like Rob from Comics explained, Thor is basically just more experienced Superboy Prime just slaughtering everybody. Jesus
he's
Christ.
like, oh my gosh, no. And then Batman shows up in the Justice
Hellbat armor.
Which for those of you that, or the Hellbat armor, either one, which for those of you that read Scott Snyder's Batman run, that's the armor that was specifically designed to counter all the powers of the Justice League. But we'll go with Hellbat armor since that's easier, since that's like intended to fight like Darkseid. So essentially, he shows up and he's like, okay, we have to fight this guy. He's like, Gotham is being destroyed right now, and he's the cause of it. So everyone just pile on. But Thor is like, he's tearing them apart. Essentially, like, I'm going to go deep into like gore to describe the violence. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Well, for one thing, for one thing, he like catches Guy Gardner's arm and crushes it, and the ring obviously turns to another finger, but not before Guy Gardner's is like hit against the ground a couple of times, like Loki was against the Hulk, and Cyborg shows up, but his arms are like ripped off. Raven is like punched into a building and buried under rubble. Thor shocks Beast Boy mid-transformation, so he's stuck mid-transformation, so he's all deformed. In other words, they're getting messed the hell up, and Scion is bleeding. Yes, he made Superman bleed.
And this is where it starts to really get brutal. Barry tries to go for the supersonic punch.
For the infinite.
Thor catches it, grabs him hangs him upside down, grabs Mjolnir, and literally smashes both his legs clean off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking Kratos versus what's
Hermes
from Hermes. Like literally breaks his legs. Shira, this is Shira Hawker now. She tries to get in on the action. Thor just, I please forgive my language. Thor pretty much bit slaps her, grabs her by the back of her hair, and just yanks her wings clean off. This is Shira Hawker. She has organic wings.
Yeah.
And Martian Manhunter, come on, what's Martian Manhunter really going to do in a situation like this?
Well, he tries to do it, and then Thor knocks him into a gas station and ignites the gas station, so he's burning.
Deep fried Martian, anyone?
Yes, exactly.
And Constantine's like, oh, bollocks.
Constantine's like, I'm out.
JLA's trying to get in on the action. I'm just like, we're getting slaughtered.
The only people that seem to have any effect are the two Supermen and Wonder Woman, and they're trying to fight Thor. Trying is the operative term because it's not exactly going the Justice League's way, and it's to the point where Thor takes the hammer and basically caves in the chest of post-crisis Clark. Spoiler alert, post-crisis Clark dies in this one. But he caves in the chest, and this is like the I'm out blow for that. And this sends Scion into a rage. And what he does here is he unleashes a solar flare, which for those of you that read New 52 Superman, what that was is that Superman could expel solar energy in a massive explosion that knocks himself out. It drains him of his solar energy, to which Thor completely punches him into a freaking coma. But he appears to be dead.
So he tanks it, channels the energy, winds his arm back, and literally bashes Scion's skull in.
And then Wonder Woman sees this and thinks he is dead. And she goes nuts. She is rapid fire punching Thor's head. She's throwing him into buildings. And when he lands, a red light appears and it says, Diana Kent of Earth, you have great rage in your heart. Welcome. You belong to the Red Lantern Corps. The ring enters her. It goes right above her, or the wedding ring Scion had given her. Then she starts vomiting up that plasmic blood and burns Thor. Now it gets particularly brutal even more. We were at a solid R rating. Now we're going a step above R in terms of the violence. We're essentially going Boys season 1 to Boys season 3.
And this is just the first issue, man.
This is just the
Seriously,
first
we have
issue.
5 more.
Oh, this is the first issue. And she like annihilates Thor, like completely to the point where she grabs his arm that's holding the. He tries to call back the hammer. She catches it and bashes his arm clean off. Like she disarms him, if you will. And then what she does is she
challenge.
no. So what she does also is she calls a spear, stabs his other arm, so she pins him. And what she essentially does is she like flays him. Again, this is clearly Black Label book. This is Black Label DC, people.
And then all of a sudden, the storms get worse. The storms get stronger. Because again, Thor has many incarnations, many forms, because the Norse mythology cycles of reincarnation and rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's a little sluggish right now, he could just shift into. He could just call the power of the lightning, and pretty much give himself a power up whenever he wants. And since the majority of the superhero community are at the very least aliens or energy based, Starfire, the Superman, Connor Kent Superboy, New 52 Superboy. Like seriously, so much raw power all in one place that Thor is supercharged and get his second wind. Now he still only has one arm, but this is where the real fun begins.
And then they're fighting. The world is getting messed up right now. Mountains are collapsing of the force of a Red Lantern Wonder Woman and mythologically accurate Thor supercharged. It is brutal. All the superheroes are like, should we get in there? And then Batman goes, do you want to get in the middle of those two? Let's just focus on saving people. She'll handle Thor.
And then all of a sudden, Black Adam, like, so Odin's son, you finally decided to be more than Odin's pack mule. Tef Adam, you have no business here.
And then Black Adam goes, the hierarchy of power in the Palace of Olympus is about to change. Shazam! And he calls down a lightning bolt on Thor. You like how I brought in the Black Adam marketing into this?
Tell him the black man sent you. Man. Oh God!
Tell him the man in black sent you.
Dude, God damn it!
Wow, that's quite a Freudian slip.
Yeah, I'm gonna admit to that. I'll admit to that. And then you got Mary Marvel, all the other Shazam kids. They want to help because our brother. I mean, Billy's in a coma at this point, completely depowered, beaten into an inch of his life. So the other Shazam kids step in, and I'm just like, I don't even know if I could actually describe this. Jesus. Okay, so Thor, now that he's supercharged, literally tosses Mjolnir to the side, pulls a thunderclap, siphons all the lightning and electricity from the Shazam kids, effectively stealing their powers, and then recoils Mjolnir back, caving in every last Shazam kid, with the exception of Mary.
It's essentially, remember in Flashpoint where Wonder Woman basically killed the Shazam kids? This happens here. They're not dead. They're just really messed up. Okay. Remember, this is showing the sheer brutality of what would happen if a mythologically accurate Thor actually showed up in DC.
And then Tef Adam is completely whiplash. Right? These were children. Thor does not care. They refuse to give up Loki. Thor retaliates. Not to mention, he literally just had his arm cut off. So Thor is like super freaking pissed right now.
He's essentially in like, think of it like Wolverine's berserker rage.
Dude, that's tame compared to what we're describing. Jeez.
Oh yeah, exactly. But and again, Wonder Woman is like smashing his head into the rock. She like grabs him by the back of the head and is like smacking him into the rocks, like causing Thor's like face to be imprinted into the rocks. This is essentially. This is making the Snyderverse look like a G-rated adventure.
And then Aquaman, this poor bastard. Aquaman tries to do something, and I'm just, and literally, okay, at this point, Thor just fires a lightning blast, pretty much broiling Arthur alive.
Yeah, exactly. Arthur is out. Mira is staying to protect Arthur. And
basically imagine Barry in Flashpoint getting his powers back where he's like super burned and electrocuted, but times 10.
Yeah, essentially that.
And then there's so much death, so much chaos going on. Red Lantern rings, Yellow Lantern rings, just kind of all converging on Earth, making new lanterns just to spread the chaos even more and giving more power to Thor.
I think we should keep it where only Wonder Woman gets a lantern ring, because that could get chaotic real fast.
I mean, all right, fair enough.
Wait, how are Wally West and his kids going to deal with Thor? They're not. They're on evacuation duty. All the other heroes, for the most part, all the other heroes that aren't like God tier powerful are just evacuating people.
They're getting out of the way.
Because what are they going to do?
Now, again, in the timeline video, I did say that there was a tie-in. So where's Loki? He's being held up in a Cadmus facility by Waller.
God damn it, Amanda Waller, screwing over humanity again.
Make sure nothing gets in or out. And let's just say a certain duo resorts to the unthinkable in the attempt to defeat Loki. Or trio, I should say, if we're counting Atreus. But that's for a different video.
Yes. No, they would not be involved in this, Tevia. We're saving that for a tie-in episode.
Again, tie-in episode. And also, Jay and Irie are still adrift from Flash Forward, so they're not back yet, since this was technically tail end 52 before Rebirth.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty much there. In fact, actually, what we could do, our Heroes in Crisis is the aftermath to this. Like, the heroes are going to be traumatized after what they just went through.
Oh, definitely.
So that's how we do Heroes in Crisis for New Direction. So, let's see. Okay, so now again we go back to now Hippolyta Kent shows up again. It's Wonder Woman and Superman and Sion's daughter, who is a Green Lantern Corps, because she was like flying back to Earth to like visit her parents. Then her ring, like the emergency alarm was like bah, and she's like she turns to Cruz and she's like, the hell? And then Hal Jordan just flies right past them like he was knocked back. They're like, Hal, what happened? He goes, don't ask, just get down there. And they just fly back down. And then they see like the carnage. It's essentially like it's fighting in this giant crater.
And then Razor's like, where's the rest of the Corps? They're too busy fighting off the forces of Apocalypse and a renegade Kryptonian slaughtering everything in the space sector. Which is another time video.
Yes, which is another one. That'll be another one. We'll call it the War of Light. But anyway, and then Hippolyta goes in and sees her mother fighting with a Red Lantern ring, first off. So she's a little so she's very like concerned. She sees her father is like broken, but as she flies to her father's side and thinks he's dead, but then Batman shows up and goes, "No, he's fine. Don't worry. I'm essentially attaching he essentially puts like a bunch of like, those little panel things that people use to sunbathe?
A tanning booth?
No, those little panel things that people unfurl when they're like sitting on a lawn chair.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. A heat lamp.
Batman essentially breaks one of those, a supercharged version of that, to like help Clark regenerate, because he knows he's not dead. He's probably in a Kryptonian healing coma, but more on that later. Wait, we're Renegade Kryptonian. Who's I never said Renegade.
Tie-in, Tevia. And let's just say it's a certain callback from Convergence.
Yes. So anyway, at that point,
I think we're on issue 3 now.
Yeah, we're on issue 3 now. And Hippolyta detects that like this fight has to stop because it's gonna cause the destruction of the very planet. So she with her lantern ring tries to put like a wall in between Wonder Woman and Thor and goes, enough, let's talk this through. Wonder Woman just plows right through the ring, because remember, it's Wonder Woman hopped up on God's powers. She's like, impotent child, you dare stand between me and my prey. And she swats Hippolyta away, because remember, she's not in control of her faculties at this point, and she is fighting Thor. So and now Zeus
was a prick.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, we get Thor out of commission. Essentially, Wonder Woman like burns him to the very bone with that acid stuff that Red Lanterns can vomit up. It doesn't kill him; it just knocks him out of commission for right now. So now the Justice League have to deal with a Red Lantern Wonder Woman.
But if there's one person we're missing, Godkiller, because again, Atreus was being manipulated by Odin because this is tie into Ragnarok.
Yeah. Now you can actually, I got it. Here's how we do that, J Heat. She doesn't vomit. What essentially what Thor does, he puts his hand to her mouth, like blocking the flow, lifts her up, grabs Mjolnir like he's about to decapitate her with the hammer. Then all of a sudden there's like a flash, kind of like in an anime where all of a sudden you have like a flash of light, and all of a sudden it's like a thing, and then all of a sudden Godkiller's there with his mighty axe. He's like a hero pose right down there, and all of a sudden Thor's head just rolls right off his shoulders.
That's from my son, you son of a bitch.
Yes, exactly. And Thor just falls to the ground, lifeless. And then Red Lantern Wonder Woman now attacks Godkiller because he stole her kill.
So, enough, Diana. You are not. This is not you.
You are consumed by rage.
I was just like you. I will not let you make the same mistake, sister. So Godkiller does what he has to. He reaches over. He breaks Diana's arm because he kind of has to at this point.
Yeah.
And gently curls the ring off her finger. Because again, Diana hasn't been exposed long enough for the ring to connect to her heart.
Oh, okay. That could work. Because the original... Can I cook? Just give me one second.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
So actually, it did link to her heart. So when he takes it off, her heart stops and she like dies essentially. But so Hippolyta is at her mother's side, and she's trying to restart her heart doing this. She's like, "I'm not going to allow you to die. I have to hope that you and Father can come back to this." And all of a sudden, a Blue Lantern ring lands in front of her. I'm trying to look up the Blue Lantern thing, but essentially, Hippolyta becomes a Blue Lantern. And with that, she purges Diana of the Red Lantern infection and restarts her heart. And Diana does not remember anything she doesn't remember anything from Clark being killed to her being revived. So yeah,
there's still one more, and that pretty much wraps up issue 3. Then we get a tie-in about the funeral for post-crisis Superman, and then for issues 4 and 5 focus on Loki because he broke out of Cadmus in one of the tie-ins.
Big surprise! This guy is Amanda Waller. We can pull that up.
Okay, at this point, it's just too easy.
Wouldn't Thor's daughter want revenge? Tie-in. That's a later thing right now. Right now, Tavia, just to clarify this, those are fantastic ideas, by the way, for tie-in, for like sequels and tie-ins. Just right now, we're focusing just on the effect that Thor's invasion has on the DC universe. That's it. We will pursue those, and those are great ideas. I just want to clarify that.
The heroes mourn. Scion is in a coma. Diana is being contained, basically being bent for the time being. Batman pulling another Maxwell Lord. The only difference is Diana's more justified this time.
And essentially, it's like dang it. Batman puts her in a prison for right now. She's wrapped in her own lasso.
Nice Golden Age reference.
Yes, exactly, because it's also a Red Sun reference, because if you remember, with Red Sun, if she breaks the lasso, she loses all of her gifts. So I'm hearkening back to that. And essentially, Bruce goes, "Listen, I get that you were upset, but now you have to deal with all the people you killed because of your rampage. I'm sorry, I'm gonna quote the Injustice movie real quick. I know, not the best thing to quote, but
hold on. Let me change the banner. Hold on. Give me just a second.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Thank you. It's I love that, the cringe. It's essentially Clark, Bruce goes, no, listen, you're going to stay in this prison. If we need you, if there's a threat where we need you, then we'll let you out, but you'll go back to the prison until you have fulfilled your sentence.
Which, let's be honest, it was essentially the intergalactic dispute. Scion and Shazam chose to pick a fight. The rest of the heroes retaliated. So most of this was collateral damage. So Diana would probably only get a couple of months.
Yeah, she's essentially not going, and you could argue it's like self-defense. So it's not going to be, she's not going to be in there for long. Just wanted to give you that. Just long enough for Scion to wake up, realize what his wife did, and visit her, because my plan is I'm going to essentially put a little tension between the two, but I'm going to do it way better than Peter J. Tomasi ever did. And yes, that's a fantastic tie-in to Tevia. All the Wonder Girls are going to have to deal with the fear and suspicion that Diana now has heaped on the Amazons.
And let's just say a certain war of the Amazons is a consequence of this, because I refuse.
You can say the Amazons are going to attack.
The banner speaks for itself.
The banner. We can even no. Let's fix that with New Direction.
So what? We're all wait. Which one are we referring to? Jeff Johns or Tom King's?
No. The one that we're thinking of when we think of Amazon's attack.
God, we might as well do both at this point. The only difference is one has a fucking exclamation mark.
I know, right? But anyway, the point is, she's in prison now, and yeah, she has visits from the other Wonder people and from Hippolyta, and Hippolyta is disgusted with her mother. You would fall to the influence of the Red Lanterns. I have encountered these beings throughout all of my journey, and they are subhuman. And Eustace calmed.
Now, to be fair, Hippolyta is roughly Damien's age, if not slightly younger.
Yeah, it's not like an attack on Diana. It's not like the editorial attack on Diana. This is the kid not understanding the
gravitas,
the context, and the gravitas. Yeah, exactly. It's a kid acting out, essentially. She's taken out her frustration over what happened to her father on her mother.
And and I can actually see readers being frustrated with this. Scion chose to attack a response. New Earth Clark tried to talk Scion down. He didn't listen, and he got his ass kicked. Bottom line.
Yes, exactly.
Like, this is Godkiller 1 all over again when he tried to finish Darkseid off.
Yeah, exactly. Only this ended up much more bloody than last time. I love how somehow I kept hyping up that this is going to make the other one look like a G-rated comic, and I fulfilled that promise. I definitely fulfilled that promise.
Indeed.
So essentially, you can even have Wonder Woman having like nightmares throughout her, like whenever she tries to close her eyes, she sees the nightmares of her like attacking Justice Leaguers and like destroying entire cities. Like, again, we're hyping up a better version of Heroes in Crisis. So and then we get Clark waking up, and he's like, "What?" He wakes up, and his first thing is, "Where's Diana and where's Hippolyta?" So Bruce goes, "Okay, Hippolyta's okay. Hippolyta's okay." Then he go, "What about Diana?" Okay, Bruce. Bruce. Okay, Clark. I don't know how to tell you this, but Diana became a Red Lantern.
But it's cool. It's cool. Godkiller helped us out.
Yep, and she's fine now. She's purged of the Red Lantern thing. And then this happened. He turned on the TV and sees all the devastation caused by Diana. And he is just shocked. What have you done? Yeah, exactly. Thank you. He goes, "Where is she?" "She's in the Fortress of Solitude under guard." So Clark, as soon as he's recovered, he flies to the Fortress of Solitude. Damon would probably advocate to lack of a politics. Yes, he would, 100%.
He'd suggest it.
He'd suggest it, and everyone would be like, "What?" Yeah. So
that's a solid argument. I mean, at this point,
yeah, 100%. It's very in keeping with Damien's character. So and by Clark now, I'm just referring to Scion because he's going to appear on to be Superman. Now we don't have to worry about confusing. So essentially, Clark lands at the Fortress of Solitude and he finds Wonder Woman wrapped up in the lasso. She's on her knees, like her head down in shame. And then Clark goes, "What have you done?"
you dare judge me after everything we've been through. There's a price, Diana. You attacked with reckless abandon. You let Thor get in your head and cost thousands, if not millions, of lives. I did it for you, just like when I made the deal with Mera and Zeus for you.
Wait, a deal with Mera and Zeus? Well, that's a Freudian slip.
Hera, god damn it. All right.
Are you telling me that Hera then pooped on their bed?
I walked right into that one, didn't I?
There you go. There you go.
God damn it.
But I have this argument, and to which Scion says, "I don't know if I can look at you the same after this." We took an oath that we would never intentionally allow for innocents to die, and you broke that oath.
If you really think you can walk away, you might as well kill me now.
Unlike you, I don't kill. And then he just floats away. By the way, this whole thing, this is a better version of the whole Trinity's Rift in Infinite Crisis. So that's what I'm hearkening here. We can also add
who do you think's been helping Loki this whole time?
Yes,
Morpheus
exactly.
helped him get into Midgard.
Exactly, Tevi. And he goes, "Do you want to know what it is?" I'm just trying to go with a Matrix reference, but beyond that, movie theater, the Trinity will have a rocky relationship and not be as close as they used to be. They'll get to that point. Just right now, emotions are high. They will still respect each other, but not be the people they used to be. They'll get to that point, but it's gonna take some time.
Okay, Morpheus and Apollo are freaking out. Like, hey, this was a Pantheon dispute. Thor completely overescalated the situation. And Diana pretty much ripped half the world asunder. Like, what the hell are we gonna do?
Exactly. The gods are like, "We effed up."
Wouldn't be the first time.
And then I want to have this scene. It's like it could be a tie-in, whatever. Zeus goes and visits his daughter and says, "Explain to me what I want to hear from you. Explain what happened."
He hurt my home, my friends, my husband.
It goes through the entire story, and then Zeus essentially says, "Look, I know what you're going through. It happens to the best of us and the worst of us. It's happened to me many times, daughter. And yes, right now the world is hurting. But if I know that your consort, eventually you will move past this. You just have to give it time, and not forget who you are. I gave you these powers for a reason."
Just answer one thing. Where the hell is Loki? You know I can't give you that answer. Because
Tevia basically summed it up. Kind of reminds me of Wonder Woman Dead Earth, but more insane. Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Hey, Comics League, would you write Damien just hating and yet respecting the Super Wonder family? Damien will be the only one in the Bat family to have a healthy balance about them than the rest. Yeah, kind of. The only one. Yeah, 100%. He still is growing to trusting them, but obviously what just happened kind of shakes that.
And now there is no Matrix cycle in the New 52. Let's go ahead and read it now. So New Earth Lois is devastated until Eradicator makes her a deal she cannot refuse.
Yes, we're doing the dark multiverse concept of her becoming the Eradicator, but she's not going to go evil. I promise you, it's essentially no. All she's doing is she's getting powers. That's it. She's not going to go crazy. She's not going to go kill everyone.
but the two super women in Steel don't know that.
Yeah, they don't. And essentially, so let me see. What else? So essentially, now what we get is this is my homage to BVS. It's that scene when like Superman is saving people, but the mainstream media is like doubting superheroes now. That's what we really see. It's a couple of pages or maybe an issue would be like the superheroes trying to rebuild, and then it would be interspersed with like pundits saying, well, they wrecked the world. Can we even trust Wonder Woman again?
Again, New Earth Lois would be a parallel to what Diana's going through in the main book. Mm-hmm. Hence why she takes the Eradicator's author and gets powers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying she's going to go crazy.
No. She's not going crazy. We're just giving her powers.
Revenge.
Which is fine. And she's not going to go. She's not going to go. The only thing we're taking from the Dark Multiverse story is her becoming the Eradicator. That's it.
That's it.
Anything else after that does not happen.
At least not within the story.
Not within the story. Maybe in the future. But so we get the funeral of Superman. And remember, Scion's been in the black New 52 suit for the longest time. And essentially, we get this recording left by post-crisis Clark before the battle. And he basically told Scion, I've tried my best to train you. You're essentially, the gist of the conversation is,
if you are watching this video,
it means I am dead and you are and I want you to be my successor. Help John. He will be lost he will be lost without me. Help Lois. Raise your daughter. Be the Superman you were always meant to be. And then essentially, as soon as that message is played, it was linked to like a chamber. The chamber opens. And then the New 52 Superman suit emerges. And I mean the blue and red suit, the classic blue and red suit, but New 52.
So no trunks?
Hell no. No trunks. It comes up, it dematerializes into the S. The S lands on Clark's chest and then rematerializes as the blue and red suit. And this issue will be titled "The Return of Superman."
And then Luthor is preparing a huge conference, even leaving the Justice League in protest, going to go on a big spiel about how the heroes can't be trusted, until Scion, now be Superman again, breaks into Luthor's penthouse before he goes to the conference. You are going to go to this conference, and you are going to show respect. PR be damned, I will broil you alive and hang you on a pike.
And then, no, wait. First, Lux goes, it's good to see you too. And he goes, but don't worry, I'm not stupid enough to... I'm not stupid enough to risk the PR nightmare that would come with me bashing a Superman. I'm just glad there's one less of you.
He's baiting you, Clark. Stand down.
I know, Bruce. Don't worry. I'm not going to do anything. Because eventually he'll slip up. And then he's all mine.
Basically, this is Clark's version of Batman versus Joker post-Death in the Family.
Yes, essentially. He will slip up eventually, and then we will be there when he does. So the peace conference goes off without a hitch. He has the whole memorial service. And Tavia, we're not dealing with John Kent until the tie-in issue. He doesn't factor into this story. So essentially, essentially, now that Superman has calmed down, he and his daughter go and visit Diana. And like he brings her food and stuff. He tells her what's going on outside. And then eventually he decides, can I trust you? And she goes, you know the answer to that. And then he lets her out just briefly so she can like eat with the family and they can have a meal as a family, essentially. So what we're seeing is that slowly but surely the world is healing after this massive event.
But I feel like there needs to be some comeuppance on the deity or pantheon side, like
Mhm.
Now Loki gets his own comeuppance at the hands of Eradicator Lois.
Mhm.
Morpheus gets punished by Zeus and Hera, and Apollo, well, he gets a special one shot to himself because there's a key plot point with Apollo where he could have done something, but he chose not to.
Mhm. And by the way, so here's the comeuppance on the Greek gods. Superman flies to Olympus and goes, "You're gonna tell me where Loki is right now, because my friends just got their asses handed to them. My wife became a Red Lantern, and I got knocked into a coma because you guys have Loki. You owe us."
Come on, don't forget, Scion. It was your bluster that caused Thor to follow through with his attack. If you
First
had
off,
listened,
that was Shazam. Second off, he was still here because of Loki. We didn't have him, and he attacked. So really, the whole reason why he came to Earth is because you abducted him. Don't turn this back on me, Zeus.
actually, this is Apollo, but fair
Oh,
point.
Apollo. Don't turn this back on me. We both know what happens when you and I fight.
I was just being sporting since it's not very often Diana lowers herself with mortals.
So you're the sun god that blasts sunlight at people is telling me that he was lowering himself. Yeah, sure.
Enough of this petty squabble. Loki has been a thorn across multiple pantheons, and it's only due to his petty tricks that he slipped through Waller's grasp. Hermes, secure the map to Loki and Morpheus' current location. Sacrilege, Zeus! You betray a fellow Olympian in such a manner?
And then he goes,
Do
"No, I'm
not
looking out
question
for
me,
my."
boy.
He goes, "Do not question me." Loki represents a direct attack on my bloodline. Sam did mess up. Yes, he did, but not the way he sees it. But so the Greek gods, they messed up. Shocker. Who would have thought? Yeah, exactly. Who would have thought? Yeah, exactly. So he hands the map to Scion, and he goes, "Take care of it." Damon Cook could be Superman's second frenemy, an ally when it comes to saving the world, but potential threat to his family and morals. Damien could tempt Superman in order to defend his family. Could be. I would be interested in this. I wonder how Hades would react to this. Okay, for right now, Hades is not playing a role, except that he's like, man, it's more crowded in here ever since that battle happened.
And the most I'm going to say on Hades right now is that ever since Diana made that deal to get Clark out of Tartarus or Hell, things have just escalated, and this is just hashtag full circle. Like I feel for my niece, but this was just a natural escalation of events.
I love how, by the way, around the Comics League channels, that's become a thing. Hashtag full circle. I like that.
Indeed.
But so you essentially have like, and the one thing what Lois Lane does, and this is the one good thing she's going to do in this series, she shows up and she agrees to interview Wonder Woman and allow her to air an apology and say, "I'm sorry, I was overcome with grief because of what he did to my family. I will do whatever I can to make up for my mistake."
It's a PR stint, but hey, it's
a PR stint, but Wonder Woman would do that, though.
So how are Loki and Morpheus going to get out of this one?
Oh, first off, they are scared right now. They're like, oh no, because they've got a bunch of pissed off gods right now. Because there's more DC gods than there are Pantheon gods. So they're like, it's essentially like in Avengers when Iron Man goes in, you pissed off every single one of them.
Not a great plan.
Not a great. That's a horrible plan, is what that is.
But unfortunately, Godkiller gets to them first. Admit to your crimes. Answer yourself to the Asgardians, and you may live, Loki. Morpheus, I just leave this realm altogether.
Yeah, Morpheus essentially leaves, and he's like, Loki, you can't. Loki goes, "You can't leave me, Morpheus." And he goes, "Nope, they're all yours. They're all yours. You deal with this. It's your problem."
I did not sign up for this.
Yeah, I did not sign up to fight Diana, her crazy husband, and the entire DC universe.
Coward!
And he flies away. Then all of a sudden, Loki is like knocked into a wall, and there's Scion with his hands to his throat. He's like, "You caused this." His eyes are burning red from heat vision. Give me one reason why I shouldn't burn you alive right now.
You'd risk a war with the Asgardians?
Oh, the Asgardians gave you up.
I highly doubt Odin would be that sacrilege.
Yeah, how does Odin factor into this? That's a good question. Odin appears behind. He goes, Kal-El, let me handle this. And Superman goes, like you handled him before. And then Odin says, oh, trust me, he won't be getting off this time. And all of a sudden, he and like Loki vanish. You can hear Loki scream in pain as he flies up into whatever hell Odin has planned. Because again, Odin and Zeus don't want war. They don't want violence. And Loki just did that exact same thing.
But all of a sudden, when the dust settles, a variant Supergirl, who looks awfully a lot like the one from the Flash movie, is stricken with grief and remorse.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know from our timeline video, you know what we're talking about.
Yes, there you go. But more on that in a possible tie-in, in a sequel. And the other important new status quo for this, Diana gives up the mantle of Wonder Woman temporarily, and she gives it to Yara Flor because we want to, because that's one of the things that hashtag wasted potential for DC is that they basically like, instead of like using Yara as like a Wonder Girl and like highlighting her, they just made up a Wonder Girl for Trinity, but she becomes Wonder Woman while Diana is like, Diana returns to Themyscira to like recuperate, recharge her batteries and all that. Tavia says, yeah, I'm sorry, what?
Yara is a glorified mascot in this context, but it helps unite it unites the tribes and what's going on in their book.
Plus the fact it's sort of a PR move in that the world now has a different Wonder Woman that wasn't involved in all this. Yeah, Yara Flor is so much waste. Yeah, exactly. And Cars World, oh, that's going to be an open can of worms. Yeah, exactly. Shouldn't it be Skyland as the realm of heavenly gods, except for the Christian god? No, Asgard is the one for the Norse gods.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it's Asgard.
Yeah, it is Asgard. At least for the mythologically accurate gods, it is Asgard. So we won't be hearing from Loki for a while. And then, yeah, Odin resurrects Thor, but makes him suffer alongside his brother for what Thor did to Midgard.
And let's just say there's a war world to occur.
Oh, that's coming soon. That's very much coming soon. Yes, Mount Olympus is the Greek gods and Asgard is the Norse gods. Thank you, Tavia. And essentially, the end of this would be like, okay, hang on. Oh, wait, is your universe map different from the DC multiverse map? Well, remember, is Asgard part of DC? Like, do they have Asgard in DC? Yes, they do. Yes, they do because of that Immortal Beloved storyline, which is the biggest pain in the ass for Super Wonder fans.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, no, it's the same multiverse map because all these things still exist. And what we would see is that eventually Clark and Diana sort of go, the Superman and Wonder Woman, like, brief 2-issue story is them, like, reconciling and doing the whole renew your vows thing that will lead to a redo of the
gangbusters.
Which would sell gangbusters, and it would lead to a redo of the wedding of Superman and Wonder Woman, which again would sell gangbusters.
And I do want to go ahead and add this panel right quick, since this would have been roughly around 2017 anyway. NewDirection-verse versus all new, all different.
Oh, you mean one would be bombing? One would be an all new, all different bomb, and the other one would be a new direction success, a new successful direction.
A little on the nose, but we'll work on that, Jared.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But Because we did. Okay, I guess because she had a warrior's death, she went to Valhalla.
Yeah. We did see Wonder Woman Norse mythology yeah, it's essentially that. She went to Valhalla. So if Valhalla exists, then Asgard exists as well.
So that's pretty straightforward. But okay, where was I? Oh yeah, NewDirection-verse versus All New All Different. So for those uninitiated, All New All Different pretty much crashed and burned within the span of 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Based on how we structured our timeline video, and hopefully I'll remember to put a link in the description, this would have been roughly around that time. If we had something like this, what Jared and I have been cooking, DC would have sold gangbusters. Period.
Yeah, exactly. And you could have gotten a few of the Marvel fans on board because you would have seen. Okay, so Marvel's like forcing people to adapt to this new area.
Quo.
Yeah, status quo. But DC is going back to the classic status quo, or at least respecting all status quo. So you would have gotten a big sales bump because of that. Plus, you would have had a book called The Wedding of Superman and Wonder Woman. So there you go.
You were heavily convinced Tomasi sabotaged Volume 4.
He definitely did. And you know what's kind of funny? Even the Sabotage book sold more than Trinity and the Superman and Lois book. Which All Know Different failed badly because they really didn't commit to All Know Different. Yeah, they really didn't. Well, it also failed because you replace all the characters people care about with cheap knockoffs.
Relatively cheap knockoffs. And the less said about Bendis's Iceman, the better.
The less said about anything touching anything but Bendis touched after, I would say, Ultimate Spider-Man and on, that's it. Do not mention that.
I regret nothing.
Yes, thank you. And that's what it would end with. They would essentially end with Clark going down one knee and saying, "You want to do this again?" And then that's how it ends. Kind of like how that one issue of Tom King's Batman ended with him proposing to Catwoman.
Which, funny fact, did we already establish Bat-Cat would get married, or were we setting that up?
Yes, we did. I'm pretty certain we did.
Okay, because I might have to go back to the other videos. But I know in the timeline video for certain we did.
Mm-hmm. And then essentially the next arc is Godkiller 2, The Aftermath. And it's, again, more of the world rebuilding, the Justice League healing. And this is where you would also get, like, maybe Hawkgirl getting the metal wings she had in the Scott Snyder run as, like, prosthetic
wings.
Yeah, that's where we would get that.
Wait, so we're turning her into Archangel?
Well, remember, she had that in Scott Snyder's Justice League.
It's a joke, Jay. Honestly, you cannot tell when I'm joking.
Yeah, probably. But it's because you have the same, like, tone of voice even when you're joking. That's the thing. I never know. Mm-hmm.
I wonder how the Superman family are going to be dealing with the aftermath. Well, Connor Kent, he's more so going to be going through whiplash. Oh, excuse me.
And just so you know, when we talk about Superboy, in no way are we talking about the new 52 Superboy.
Oh, no. If you remember our NewDirection-verse Young Justice, New 52 Superboy sacrificed himself a while back.
Yeah, so he doesn't exist at this point. It's just Connor Kent.
Wait, didn't we agree New 52 Superboy sacrificed himself during the Doomsday virus around that time?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
And by the way, movie theater. Yeah, that is the next. I don't know about you, Jay Heat, but I think that should be our next thing that we fix. Because at this point, it would be prudent to deal with the trauma of what's going on with the world. Master Sergeant, was Hawkgirl banging Jon Stewart in the comics, or was that just in the cartoon? Just in the cartoon. In the Scott Snyder run. In the Scott Snyder run, she was actually with Martian Manhunter.
Wait, wasn't that Kendra Saunders?
But that was still Hawkgirl.
Yeah.
Wait, which Hawkgirl are we using? Are we doing Shiera or Kendra? I don't think we ever established that.
I think we're using Shiera.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. We'll do the Jon Stewart thing for the hell of it.
Okay, now where was it? Here it is. Okay, give me just one moment. Go to present.
Okay, let's see what you got.
You're welcome.
Yes. Yeah, I love how you put your welcome in there.
Oh boy, this one's gonna be a roller coaster.
That's gonna be fun. Luckily, not like I said when I reviewed Heroes in Crisis, the Wally West BS that happened with DC in the past hasn't happened in this universe.
No, he's with Artemis from you would remember from our JLA or with the Earth 2 saga stuff. But we're getting to flash forward. It's gonna be completely different from what we got.
Yeah, trust me, Wally West is not character assassinated in this universe.
You could potentially introduce a new character that is the result of these events. Like Thrud, daughter of Thor and Lady Sif.
Ooh, that would be interesting. What are the Flash family and the rest of the families were going to react to this aftermath? Again, tie-ins.
Tie-ins. But I will say, at the very least, Barry has time to slow down in his new wheelchair.
Nice.
I regret nothing.
Why is DC always pimping her out with her JL characters? Wonder Woman with Superman and Batman, just one big date scene. No, she was only with Superman. She's never been with Batman and never will be. Just want to be clear on that, Master Sergeant. But yeah.
You set me up so perfectly.
Let me try.
Okay.
Wonderbot.
You kind of set me up for that.
You have that on speed dial, don't you? Thank God Jeremy Irons Flash run saves Wally West as we. Okay, so as far as
Jeremy Adams run is solid.
Yeah, as far as the Jeremy Adams run is, I vote we leave that completely untouched.
Untouched. And Joshua Williamson's run too.
Yes,
for good measure.
Those two are, and the Manipul run in the new 52. I think those are pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of New Direction spans off from New 52, so Manipul would pretty much be untouched as well.
Yeah, none of these runs are going to be changed because they are perfect just the way we are. Will Wonder Woman start to despise Damian? Why would she start to despise Damian, though?
Because he's showing paranoia and suspicion towards their daughter for being basically how Damian treated John in the Super Sons book when they first met. She'd be annoyed by him, but I wouldn't say she'd hate him.
No. Because remember, Wonder Woman doesn't hate people.
Hence why she has no rogues gallery.
Yeah. I love when they try to explain that in the new 52 with Wonder Woman going, there's a reason why my list of villains isn't as big as yours or Bruce's. When I deal with a villain, I deal with them. Pika says, I remember a rumor about Heroes in Crisis we would have had a dark multiverse Wally West. I mean, read Wally West place the Dr. Manhattan wanted to take out the board as the only. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I did hear that rumor as well, Pika. But I feel like editorial changed their mind when Death Metal rolled around.
Yeah, they definitely did.
But as your official welcome on the show,
Let me try.
Okay.
Wonderbot.
You like seeing me suffer, don't you?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Witness to his actions have caused the new 52, but then the final issue came out and we all know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But remember, they later retconned it that it was Dr. Manhattan that led to the new 52.
Well, he interfered while Barry was changing the timeline back, but it was a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, DC's timeline is still a mess, so there you go.
But as far as an actual epilogue for the book, for Godkiller 2, I mean, Superman is dead. Post-crisis, Superman is dead. Lois is in the Eradicator armor because she refuses to take it off. So she's pretty much off going to Sanctuary to cope and get help. New 52 Lois / Superwoman does the interview with Wonder Woman for PR purposes. And Barry loses his legs, but does reconcile with Iris. Shiera loses her wings, but John is there to console her. I don't feel like, oh Oh, Movie Theater King makes a good point. I'm surprised that someone would not try to clear DC Pantheon gods from Earth. Either that, they would try to encourage people to leave. I would try to find another. Given the fact that Diana is arguably one of the strongest of Zeus's children, some of the lower deities would leave the realm.
Or they'd be like, we're out.
Yeah, leave this dimension. Like, no, I'm going to chill with the Egyptian Pantheon for a while.
Mm-hmm. And then, so what happens next is Diana also goes to Sanctuary to deal with like the trauma of like being a Red Lantern. She talks with Hal and Guy and all the Lanterns that have dealt with this. In fact, Hal was a Red Lantern briefly in Rage of the Red Lantern, so she would specifically go to him. And as we know, the Green Lantern epic is still canon somehow. Somehow Palpatine returned. And let's see.
Arthur would be in a coma after being nearly broiled to death. So Mara takes up the throne.
You could say he's in like a water tank, kind of like Luke was in Episode 5 of Star Wars.
Pretty much, in a bank to tank.
Mm-hmm. And Hippolyta has to deal with like the backlash of her mother, and she and Cruz go off into space to like get away from it all, and essentially Bruce's Hellbat armor have been like crushed because of what happened. He like tried to like stop Diana, and she crushed the armor. So there you go.
So that's again.
And you can make it like for a little bit of time, the villains of Gotham are very much too afraid to come out. Titans are in a tie-in, Tevia.
Mm-hmm.
But I will just dealing with the main DC universe.
But I will confirm that this would have been roughly around the time of the Percy run. Now, I will take some elements of the Adam Glass run if I get fan requested to do so. But so far, I'm just sticking with an expansion of the Percy run.
Yeah.
Since we're also planning another video separate from NewDirection-verse, what if 5G didn't happen?
Spoiler alert, it gets better. But so what happens next? So what else should we deal with this? So what would be an effect that we'd have to deal with?
Well, Atreus stays on Earth, similar to his video game, similar to the God of War Ragnarok ending, where he wants to come into his own and explore the world. Maybe Atreus interacts with Athena in the Greek pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
Your father was led astray on the false promises of battle and glory. He realized that truth far too late and lashed out against us. He was a pawn of Ares and who couldn't keep him in check. We do not want the same thing to befall you, young Atreus. Considering what your brother had put my father and my uncle through, hell, all of Sparta, why should I trust anything you say? Because we are family, young Atreus. Wait, Jared, quick question. Have you actually played the God of War games?
Nope, I want to.
Yeah, let's just say Athena isn't exactly trustworthy in those games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tie-ins, Tevia.
Yeah, again, Tevia, any questions about other DC characters other than the ones we're specifically talking about is going to be tie-ins later. We're not dealing with John Kent, the Super Sons, the Titans, anyone, the Flash family. It doesn't matter right now.
I'm with Atreus on this one. He wouldn't trust the Greek gods.
Yeah, exactly.
Rightfully so. But who's to say that there was only one Loki in the multiverse? Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It would be a revolution that ended knights and swords. If people had an metaphorical gun, they could protect themselves. Many people could hire super mercenaries to stop constant collateral damage and drama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but not a lot of people can afford that, and it's always a double cross waiting to happen. Hence why people don't hire. I could see.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they would. Catwoman gets a little something to do. She doesn't contribute to the main fight, but she's emotional support for Bruce and the Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
she essentially meets him in the Batcave and goes, "They're still your friends. No matter what, they're still your friends. They have been there for you when you needed them most. When Damien was killed, they were there for you and helped you get him back. You have to stand by your friends."
Thanks for showing up, Pika.
Hey, it's good to see you, buddy.
And just as you I'll give you a proper send off.
Oh my god.
Let me try.
Okay.
Wonderbat.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna play that anymore. I'm done.
Thank you.
And the less said about Wonder Comics, the better.
Oh yes. Again, with our timeline, remember,
Jesus,
what
Christ.
if Bendis never came to DC? That's actually canon. He never came to DC.
Nope.
Or he wanted to come to DC, but we essentially told him, nah, it's not the right fit for you.
Either you settle for a more obscure character or no deal.
Mm-hmm.
We would not. Okay, whose idea was it to give Bendis Superman of all people?
Not just Superman, but action as well. What the hell? You took. I will grant. See, here's the thing. As much as I can't stand like the Tomasi run of Superman, you at least had a solid fan base, and you told them go away. This is another example of DC taking a semi-popular book, or in my case, a massively popular book, and throwing him to the side for clout. That's what it is, DC.
I couldn't agree more.
It's freaking ridiculous at this point. Okay, so and I say the event. Bendis being on Superman in action was a death sentence. Yeah, exactly. So the story ends essentially with Superman and Wonder Woman. They're like on the shores of Themyscira, sitting in the sand. She's leaning her head on his shoulder, and she goes, "So what now?" And he goes, "We rebuild. It'll take time, but we will rebuild."
I almost forgot. Donna Troy ends up becoming an ambassador for the Amazons.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially to help with their political situation.
Yeah, and by the way, I am factoring in the Tom King run of Wonder Woman, the ideas that he has, but the cause of the suspicion around the Amazons is different from his story, but I think it's a pretty cool idea.
Wait, before or after they circumventually ripped us off?
Probably before.
Okay, in all seriousness, it was around the same time. It was like the biggest coincidence ever. I messaged Jared like
So if you guys know what we're talking about, so we had the idea for Wonder Woman and Superman to have a kid, and then like a week later they announced, hey, it's Trinity, the daughter of Wonder Woman. I swear, Jay Heat, if it turns out that her father is Superman, we are clairvoyant, my friend.
I forgot about Batman and his reaction. Okay, if you want Batman's reaction, it's basically how he handled Wonder Woman killing Maxwell Lord in post-crisis. It's basically the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is Selena is there to make Bat Bruce a little less of a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
But and then we get an epilogue issue revolving around Thrude, the daughter of Thor, wielding Mjolnir, vowing revenge.
Yes. If we find out Trinity, yeah, I will go insane. Well, oh yeah, because of me, John Kent would still exist in that timeline, so it's not like John Kent won't exist. Well, why would you go insane? Could it be because there'd be DC finally acknowledging that Superman with Lois Lane doesn't work and is an outdated idea that keeps being dragged up by people clinging to nostalgia?
No comment.
Thank
No
you.
comment.
I appreciate that.
A battle of the gods. Will the Pantheons fully leave the planet and gift it to DC's true gods, or will they fight for it? This could be Loki's and Hera's plan for Earth.
Yes, exactly. Which could lead to an event called God War.
Maybe. Okay, I'll probably put this poll in either my community tab or on Twitter. But if you guys want a direct sequel to this, rather than going to Godkiller 3, if you want an interlude that's strictly Loki and Hera's big scheme called God War, we will do it.
Yep, let me know.
But hold on, let me just see if I can find it. Hold on, I had this thumbnail somewhere. Give me a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
And Tevia says this could open the door to Darkseid. Yes. That works.
Okay, I'm just gonna show a few of the time. I do have gotta have a lot of thumbnails made. Jesus Christ.
Hey, you're prepared. You're Batman prepared, dude.
But I'm just going to show a series of thumbnails. That way you at least have a taste of some of the tie-ins we will be discussing.
Mm-hmm. That's such a badass picture of Supergirl with the black and silver.
Basically, it's Matrix or Convergence Kara getting corrupted by the anti-life equation, but we'll cover that more in detail in a tie-in. Next one. Mm-hmm. Because we have to, Tevia. This is technically part 2, but my catalog is actually alphabetical, so this is technically part 2 of that tie-in. And part 1 is the Demon's Pact. But if you remember, you know what? Let me just go ahead and show that one as well. And yes, the Demon's Fist and Surindarga from the Patrick Gleason run do make an appearance. Surprisingly, I get a lot of feedback from Damian Wayne fans, believe it or not.
Atreus is super sensing counties. Okay, a crisis where many people, where many of the Earth's population face the existential crisis of existing in DC. That's actually not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Done that. Superman would confront them, asking why be cowards and flee? Why give up hope for this place? Since this is technically New 52 Superman, who lost his brother and his home city in one of the worst ways possible, I don't think he'd be exactly in a hopeful mood.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go ahead and get to final thoughts. Now, even though this is very unlikely in a realistic scenario, I had fun with this one.
This was awesome, dude. This is my favorite one we've done so far. Because the idea of a Red Lantern Wonder Woman, I don't think DC's ever done that. Did I just create more hype than Blackest Night? Suck it, Jeff Johns.
And who knows? Maybe we'll actually get a Godkiller 3 to conclude the trilogy.
Yes. And let's just say there will be some epicness in that one. And I'm glad I was able to go super bloody because I was like, how do I top the last one? Oh, I know. Boosh. So more on the tie-ins later. For right now, we're going to take a little break and let the universe breathe.
And before we go, Jared, this is for you.
Oh, that is badass. Wait, she gets the ring again?
Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't. But
Okay,
that's
we're
a question.
doing that. We're doing that at one point because that is kick ass. Wow. That is badass. Yep, we're doing that.
All right, with that being said, hold on. The humans try to gain powers to fight or just get willing to flee forever. Superman is so twisted. Twisted challenge. People ultimately fight or flight. Okay. But Jared, any final thoughts? Anything you want to promote?
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of New Direction. It was super awesome to do, pun intended. For promotion, on tomorrow, I have my latest episode of Super Wonder Legacy coming out, where Britt and I rewrite DC stories that may not have been Super Wonder themed and make them Super Wonder. And in terms of movie night this week is going to be Alita Battle Angel. Indie Wednesday, I'm getting some on the show. And in terms of Under Two Capes, we're going to be discussing which DC superheroes could work in the Christopher Reeve Superman universe.
Sounds like a plan.
What about you, Jay?
As for me, I'm actually doing a follow-up video with Tevia on why the 5G Trinity failed. That's going to be up. We're going to go live on that in a few hours. And I'm actually starting my Blazing review series on Young Justice Season 1. So that's going to be a decent rewatch. And kind of just, expand, focus on some other topics I want to talk about. Maybe do a retrospective on the Adam Glass run since I get requested about so much. Okay, I feel like half the requests I get are just made to annoy me. But you guys want me to talk about the Adam Glass run, so I'll talk about it.
Yes, I love that. I love seeing Jahid suffer because of what I had to go through.
Is that right? Well, let me give you a double dose, old friend.
Let me try.
Okay.
Wonderbot.
Worth it.
With that being said, like, comment, subscribe. Good night, everybody.
Oh!